Welcome to my video. In this video, I want to do the example of a vector problem. So the problem is, let the vector A be a force of 50 newtons at the angle of 20 degrees. So this is going to be this vector right here. Its length of 50 newtons and an angle of 20 degrees. And then the second vector is our B vector. It has a length of 80 newtons, a little longer, and it's an angle of 60 degrees. So there's the two vectors. Now what we'll do is we'll add those up. We're going to do this algebraically. We're going to go back to our vector number 3 tutorial video, and I've got a link to it in the back of this video. And that kind of tells you the process for doing this. So this is an application of that. So the first thing we want to do is we want to determine the components of A and B, the A and B vector. So that's our first step. And we're going to use the formulas that we had seen developed before. So the x component is 50 times the cosine of 20 degrees. Now I'm going to do this calculation, this first calculation of my Desmos scientific calculator. So we have got 50 times the cosine of 20 degrees, and we're in the degree mode. So that's going to give us 46.98. So that's equal to 46.98. Now, a to the y is equal to the 50 times the sine of 20 degrees. That's 17.1 units of newtons. All these have units of newtons since it's a force, but that's a component in the y direction of the first vector. A to the b to the x. Length of 80, cosine, the degree is 60 degrees, so that's 40 newtons. And then b of y is equal to 80 times the sine of 60 degrees, which is 69.28 newtons. So there's our four components. Next, we want to calculate the length of the resultant vector. So the resultant, and our equation for that is going to be the sum of, it's the sum of the x and the y components. So it's ax plus bx, quantity squared, plus ay plus by, quantity squared. We take the square root of that whole thing. It's just an application of the Pythagorean theorem. Now, if we put all those numbers in there, what we're going to come up with, a of x is 46.98, b of x is equal to 40, quantity squared, plus a sub y is 17.1, plus b sub y, 69.28. Square that whole quantity, then we take the square root of that. I'm not going to show that, but if you do that on your calculator, you're going to come up with 122.6 newtons. So that is the length of the resultant vector. But now we need to find theta. So let's go find theta, or the angle that makes. And to do that, we're just going to use what we had learned before in the previous video, our x and y axis. There's our vector. We're going to call that r. It's got a component, r of x, and then the y component is just r of y. We know that r of x is equal to ax plus bx, the sum of those two components. R of y is equal to a sub y plus b sub y. Now from our equation, tan theta 1 we covered in the previous video, we know that r sub y divided by r sub x is equal to this angle theta here. Now r of y is just equal to ay plus by divided by ax plus bx. Now let's put those numbers in there. So that's 17.1 plus 69.28. And divide that all by, so that's the tan theta. AX is 46.98, and then we add that to BX, which is 40. Do the arithmetic on that, we get 86.38 divided by 86.98. Now, just doing a quick mental note here, since that length is approximately that length, because that's what RY and RX we determined to be, and they're basically the same. So that tells us theta is going to be pretty close to 45 degrees. That's just a little mental check. We're going to do the math now. Okay, so let's go back into Desmos. And in this case, we have to go to the function key to bring up the inverse tangents. So we're going to do the arctangent, and then that's going to be, and let's get back into the 86.38 divided by 86.98, enter 44.8 because we are in the degree mode. So 44.8 is our angle. So theta is equal to 44.8 degrees. And just like we had kind of done mentally, it's real close to 45 degrees. So it's always good to do a little mental check. Now let's plot that out. I've already plotted that. There was our original A and B vector. When we added those together algebraically, we came up, that was 122.6 newtons. If you're dealing in newtons, that's our units. And then the angle we just calculated was 44.8. So that is our resultant vector by adding A and B together. Well, I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, like and subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.